For our story today, we are covering a situation that is coming out of Texas. This deals with transgender issues as it relates to a minor child. In this situation, there is a 7-year-old whose mother says that the 7-year-old, although born a boy, is actually a girl and self-identifies as a girl. The father says that this is not true and that the mother has essentially pressured the child into saying that they're a girl when they're really not. The mother wants the child to undergo certain therapies to help block hormones and otherwise help to medically transition this child. The father has objected, and so far the mother has tended to win in the arguments. So we're going to read some of this stuff and read the original materials as far as we can to help us understand the situation. So let's get started with this. On Thursday, Judge Kim Cook ruled Texas father Jeffrey Younger has a say in his 7-year-old's gender transition, which is being facilitated by the boy's mother and Younger's ex-wife, Dr. Ann Georgulas. Younger is attempting to halt the boy's transition. Cook of the 255th Texas District ruled that the parents will have joint conservatorship over James, which includes making joint medical decisions. Perhaps the part that most irritates me, Cook also placed a gag order on Younger, according to Jacob, so he cannot speak to the press about the case and decide the father is not required to pay attorney's fees. The father had run a website, the Save James website, which has circulated videos of James' testimonials and will have to be shut down. It has in fact been shut down, but thanks to the Wayback Machine, we can share some materials that were shared on the website before it was shut down. So yes, the court has ordered him not to exercise his First Amendment rights, so that part deeply irritates me. Before the judge handed down her verdict, she kicked out media sources, including the Texan, Daily Mail, and Life Size News, as well as all family and friends. Only ABC, CBS, and NBC were reportedly allowed access. So the judge kicked out media organizations wanting to report on the case. That is really irritating to me. Reporting from The Texan says Georgulas' lawyer, Jessica Janik, and Laura Hayes claimed during the trial the mother does not plan on giving James hormone blockers at this time. However, no one has stated she would not be open to using them in the future. When Georgulas testified on Friday, she said that she understood that a social transition is usually followed by the medical transition using puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones. In addition, Ms. Georgulas' July 2018 testimony reveals that James, if he persists in being named Luna, is set to be evaluated for hormone suppressants as young as age 8. So apparently we're going to try to medically transition this kid next year if he insists that he's still a girl. The father disagrees with Ms. Georgulas that James is actually named Luna. He's claimed that, in his opinion, would only show James love and affection when he said he's a girl and began showing James trans-related material such as media from famed transgender child Jazz Jennings when he was a toddler. So the claim is essentially that the mother is pressuring the child into claiming to be a girl by threatening to withhold love. So that's one hell of an allegation, but that's what it says. In a video captured by father when he was 3 years old, James tells his dad that mommy tells him he's a girl and puts him into dresses. Yee. During a podcast in January, Mr. Younger said his son had already been fully socially transitioned and noted that he's not allowed to use the masculine pronouns or use the boy's name James to third parties who know the boy as Luna. So the father is being restricted on the terminology he can use. He can't use masculine pronouns or use the child's birth name. He has to, according to the court, use only the transitioning name. So that's a thing that exists. James wears a dress at her wife's home. He has new makeup put on and his name Luna, according to court filings. He goes to school. The teachers call him Luna. He uses the girl bathroom at school. All the authority figures, his mother, teacher, librarian, the police officer, the principal, tell him he's a girl. I'm the only authority figure in his life that tells him the truth, that he's actually a boy. According to Jacob, prior to the case, Dr. Georgulas, that is the mother, had exclusive rights to make decisions regarding psychological and psychiatric care for James and his twin brother, Jude. She needs to inform Mr. Younger of his decisions, but he could not weigh in or change the decision. This is horrifying and tragic for a parent to be subject to such a young child to life-altering hormone blockers to medically transition their sex is nothing less than child abuse, according to Texas Senator Cruz. A 7-year-old child does not have the maturity to make profound decisions like this. I would tend to agree personally. A state of Texas should protect the child's right to choose as an informed, mature person and not be used as a pawn. For your information, the matter of the 7-year-old child, James Younger, is being looked into by the Texas Attorney General's Office and the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services, according to the governor. So the governor of Texas is involved in this case. So that's super fun and exciting. So although the court ordered the website Save James to be shut down, the Wayback Machine is here to save us. So we have some stuff that we can talk about from the original court filings. So we're going to read some of the original court filings. We're going to read the first petition from the wife or former wife to modify the relationship. We're going to read the original answer, and we're going to read the temporary restraining order from the judge. So let's get started with this. According to the mother, specifically, James is a gender-expansive or transgender child, and by choice now goes by the name Luna, and is only known to her classmates as a girl. In the order, the petitioner mother was given exclusive rights after notifying the father to consent to psychiatric and psychological treatment of the child. And as my understanding is, the father was prohibited from taking the child to a psychiatrist of his choice because the mother had exclusive rights over that. So he couldn't take him to a psychiatrist on his own time either. In response to Luna's choices, this will be the choices of the 7-year-old, who I would argue is probably not competent to make these choices, or really any choices of any description, because they're 7. The father has engaged in increasingly aggressive behavior, including physical force towards the mother. I would think that physical force might be contemplated if your child is being harmed. You might want to take some actions. Yes, that's kind of what you might expect. His actions are clearly intended to threaten and intimidate the mother. Further, the father has engaged in emotionally abusive behavior towards the child, as an example only by haircutting and other non-affirmative actions. Yes, he has engaged in abusive behavior such as having his child's haircut cut into a more masculine shape. That is emotionally abusive behavior, according to the mother in this context somehow. Although it's unclear if this behavior rises to the level of family violence, it doesn't. The father's aggression is becoming more common and more intense. Due to the material and substantial changes of circumstances, petitioner, the mother, requests the terms and conditions be modified as follows. Enjoin the father from cutting the hair of the child. No more haircuts for you. Entering orders requiring the father to affirm Luna and enter his choices both inside and outside the home. So we want to force the father to support the choices of Luna, who again is 7. Okay. Limiting father's consecutive overnight possession of both children and or supervising possession if he fails to affirm. Enjoining behavior, enjoining the father from engaging in non-affirming behavior and or taking Luna outside the home as James or allowing others to do so. So we have to support his choices. We are prohibiting the father from doing anything that would not be affirming or taking him outside as James or putting him presumably in masculine clothing. Ordering the father to attend counseling and or educational classes associated with being the parent of a transgender child or potentially transgender child. We want to force the father to engage in re-education courses. That doesn't sound dystopian in any way. Unbelievable. Specifically, a class that educates the father how his actions and non-affirming behavior could be harmful to the child. You will be sent for re-education. Let us know when you have been re-educated. All glory to Astorkia. That's kind of where we are on this. Keeping electronic communication language from the order, but also enjoining the father from condemning mother. So we must enjoin the father from condemning the mother. So we take away his freedom of expression. Or the children, or hanging up if they use the name Luna. So if they use the name, we can't hang up the phone as a surprise of our discuss. Okay. Enjoining Jeff from signing up Luna up as James for any activities, or taking her as James, or calling her James, or using any male pronouns related to Luna at any activities outside the home, including but not limited to school and extracurricular activities. So you can't sign the child up as the birth name. You can't refer to him using masculine pronouns and any sort of things. So you are enjoined from your expression. Great. Enjoining Jeff from allowing the children to remain in the presence of anyone not calling Luna by her chosen name, Luna, and not using female pronouns. So if he's around anyone who uses these things, apparently he's to whisk the child away so the child does not hear anything contradictory. That doesn't sound sketchy at all. With that background in place, now let's read some of the defendants, that is the father's answer to this petition. The father's response is fairly short, just simply saying the modifications to the prior order relating to conservatorship would be ill-advised, not in the child's interest, and be clearly detrimental to the child's emotional and physical well-being and development, and should be denied. So it's a pretty sort of superficial kind of denial. I wish there was a little bit more here in terms of the meaningful response, but it is what it is. With that in place, let's read the temporary restraining order. It is therefore ordered that the clerk of court issue a temporary restraining order restraining a respondent, and respondent is immediately restrained from taking any action to notify any third party relating to the school, parent, or students only, that the gender of James is different than as the child presents on a normal school day. Okay. And this restraining is effective immediately and shall continue in force. Okay, super interesting. So that is the case of James/Luna, a 7-year-old child in Dallas County, Texas, whose mother insists that the child is actually a girl, and whose father says, no, you've been pressuring him into this, and I don't want my child to undergo forcible therapy. And the mother said, well, I won't do it unless he continues insisting on it, and then maybe I'll do it next year when he's 8. So personally, I find this pretty disgusting. I don't think a 7-year-old child is in a position to make such life-altering decisions. Even if they have a genuine belief, if they're insistent, persistent, and consistent, even in that situation, they're 7 years old, and we shouldn't be engaging in decisions that are going to engage in such life-altering consequences when they're 7. And I would want to take them to therapy from someone who could be more or less neutral and try to engage in that discussion, because I don't want to engage in situations that are going to be permanent or quasi-permanent. And the child is 7, so I don't think the child's expression can be indicative of anything here. So I really have a fundamental problem with Texas trying to force the father to give up his rights and allowing the mother to transition this child. Even if the child is in fact transgender, it's simply too young to make such life-altering decisions, in my humble opinion. So I find this pretty disgusting on the case as it's been presented, and I find the actions here really, really troubling. And so we will keep attention and see what happens next, and hopefully James/Luna will be able to get some relief, and his father will be able to express his opinion and condemnation for the court/mother if he is so inclined, which is currently enjoined on doing, which I find to be a violation of his First Amendment interests. So we will keep attention on that.